until I'm ready.
You are a pain in the butt.
No, I just don't operate on your time. That's it. See, that's the thing. I don't operate on your time. Operate on my time.
You learned that from Peter, didn't you?
What?
Operating on your own time.
No, I learned that from me. I didn't learn that from Peter. I learned that from me. Like, I operate on my time.
Mm. So, can you tell us a story while you're waiting?
No.
I'll tell a story.
Go ahead.
So, I'll practice for my TikTok later.
There you go. Get some practicing.
So, earlier this morning, I go for a walk every morning, and I like to take the time to kind of just ponder and relax and enjoy walking, and I tend to get a lot of ideas. It's a very expansive activity for me to do when I'm walking. And one of the things I realized today, and this is something I've been learning very slowly over a period of years, is it relates to money. So I grew up in a working class family who taught me that money was hard to make, whereas Andre grew up in a wealthy family who taught him that money was not hard to make. So he's been really, I don't want to say you're frustrated, but it's been a long journey trying to get me onto your page with regard to money. But this morning, I finally got it. And what I realized was, if we create everything, if we look around and our entire experience is unfolding as a result of our existence and our senses and nothing else, then money is also a part of us, right, just like literally everything else. But if you don't accept that, if you do not take the time to literally sit down and accept money as a part of yourself, the same way you accept your hands as a part of yourself and your feet and your, whatever allergies or whatever you have, if you don't take the time to accept money, it will be a fragmented part of you.
That's interesting, because that's kind of leading to this today. Yeah. So actually kind of segueing into the lesson.
It just hit me this morning, and I took the time to accept it. And after that moment, I felt whole, more whole than I've ever felt before in my entire life. And it was really nice. So I've been having a great day. Thanks, money. All right, babe. It's 2:05 now.
All right. Okay, so in the event that you don't know who I am, my name is Andre Pickens. I am one of the creators of Quantum Networking. And just to give you a little bit of a background on me, yes, I did grow up in what you could consider to be a wealthy family. My dad made quite a bit of money specifically through networking. So I actually took a lot of that. I had a mentor that also taught me, and I took a lot of that, and I created a multiple six-figure business for myself, being a freelancer. And so this information I'm going to be teaching you is how you can start to see things in a different way, so maybe you can take that journey too. And in today's class, I'm going to be teaching you how to improve your decision making. So let's ask a couple of questions of you since you're here. The first question is going to be, do you have a tough time making decisions? And if so, why? Please post it in the chat if you do.
Oh, yeah. I guess I don't have to chat, but let us know. I've definitely had a really tough time making decisions, and you know this.
Yeah, I do know this. But here's the question for you, so you can kind of keep this going, is what type of decisions do you find are the hardest to make for yourself?
And you guys can contribute in the chat.
I definitely would like for you to contribute in the chat.
Yeah, I'm just filling the empty
space. Yeah.
The hardest decisions for me to make are breaking away, I think, from what I think I should do and doing something different.
All right, give an example of that.
So a lot of the time, if I'm aware of an activity that I could be doing, like going to the gym or sitting down to write or whatever, but it's not something I'm comfortable, like I have a routine that doesn't involve that,
right?
Then I go back and forth for hours.
There's a lot of flip-flopping.
Yeah, and then the day passes and it's like, oh shit, I didn't do it.
Okay. By the end of this class, you will know why. You'll know why that happens.
Right.
All right? So Did anybody answer, or are we good?
Negative.
All right, well, that's cool. That's cool. No, you don't have to answer. That's all right. So let's talk about what a decision is in the first place. Okay? So decision is usually used synonymously with the word something like a choice. Okay? It's you're making a choice. It's also synonymous with, well, actually, we'll just say choice, but it also is something that people also use for the word action, taking action, right? Okay, I made a decision. Well, the thing is, that's not what a decision is at all. In fact, a decision is an intellectual process. Now, you may go, well, what do you mean? A decision is a process that we use for ourselves, right? We use to justify an action. That's what a decision is. It's a justification to take action. All right? So let's say that you're thinking about quitting your job and you are looking for reasons as to why you can quit your job. Then you eventually decide that because of all the information and the evidence or whatever you've come up with, that quitting your job is a good idea. And then you make a decision to do that. You justified taking the action. So that is what a decision is. A justification to take action. All right? Now the reason why you're having a difficult time making decisions is because you are confusing taking an action and making a decision. They are not the same. So in Sam's story that she told not too long ago, what she said was that she will make a decision to do something and then go through the whole day and realize that she never actually did it. So making a decision does not mean that you took any action. It's not the same. All right? And the reason why you're having an incredibly difficult time making decisions is because you're confusing the two. Because once you make a decision, in some cases, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but in most cases, when people make a decision, they don't actually act on them. Making a decision is not the same as taking action. We could decide that we want to leave a bad relationship but never leave, right? We could decide that, but never actually go anywhere, right? That's because making decisions and taking actions are not the same. So, what I like to say is that the act of making a decision is nothing more, or decision is nothing more than another word for confusion. Okay? When you're going through the process of trying to figure out how to make a decision, you become very confused. And so what you're doing is you're seeking a path to when you're making that decision. But let me bring something to you. If I walk up to you and I punch you in the face, okay? I just walked up to you and cold cocked you, right? You may respond in one of a few ways. You may cry. You may get really angry and attack me. You may just punch me back, or you may sit and do nothing, right? You could come up with any number of things. You could run away, whatever, in terms of actions that you would take. Now, those are all actions. But when that scenario pops up, you act with no thought. You simply respond. So if it is natural for you to throw a punch back, then you'll throw a punch back. If it's natural for you to cry, then you'll cry. If it's natural for you to run away, then that's what you'll do. And you don't think about doing it. You just do. When you laugh, you don't think, oh, this is funny, I'm going to laugh. You don't think that. You just laugh, right? So you skipped the decision-making process entirely, and you went straight to action. You don't go and think consciously, oh, I'm going to raise my hand here, right? You see how I'm raising my hand? You don't think that to yourself. That's just an action that you take. Now, how does this apply? to your life. Let's say that you want to quit a job and you're like weighing all of the options. Well, all you're doing is confusing yourself. You won't have an action that you want to take, and you're going through looking at all the options as a way of talking yourself out of the action you want to take. You're creating confusion. You're creating it. I learned a long time ago that the most power that us as human beings have is hidden in confusion. It's hidden there. People become so enamored with being confused, and they may not even realize it. They go, hey, I want to do this for my business. Okay. You want to do something for your business. What are you going to do? Are you going to do that? Most people will be like, well, no, I got to figure it out first. I got to figure out how to do that first. Well, does a tree say to itself, I have to figure out how to grow leaves today? No. Do you go, well, I got to figure out how to scratch myself when I itch? No. You just do it. You scratch yourself. The resistance comes in when you're trying not to scratch yourself. Right? That's where it comes in, and that's why you're having a tough time making decisions. Does any of this make sense so far? If so, put it in the chat.
Yeah, let us know if you're following. And also, Kenny said it's difficult for me deciding if I take a new LinkedIn training or not.
Why? Why is that difficult? Okay. Like, seriously.
Let us know.
Why is that difficult?
I think there's a lack, not a lack of awareness, but kind of a lack of awareness when you realize that making decisions is as you've described, you know.
There's so many things that are out there that are actually designed to confuse you. I'm going to give you a great way of thinking about this. You may have heard of it. It's a very popular term in self-help, or terms, which is called higher self and lower self. Yeah. It's a very popular set of terms. You may, again, have heard of it. These terms are designed to confuse you. They're designed to keep you confused. Think about it. How do you define a higher self? How do you define that? Well, someone could say that a higher self is someone that expresses themselves without a care in the world. We'll just use that as an example. Okay. And then the lower self is the ego and all of that, right? Whatever people say, right? Well, the thing is, how do you know that the ego isn't the higher self and the other thing isn't the lower self? See, you're actually, you see what I'm saying? Like, you just create confusion. What?
No, Kenny said the investment, it's like another training, more learning and no action.
Interesting. Okay, well, I'll come back to that. So, here's the thing, right? No one buys anything because of the investment. Like, I know I've been doing this for years. I know for a fact that no one buys because of investments. They buy because of their feelings. And if you're questioning that, that means that you don't feel strongly enough about the purchase. It's that simple. It's not the information that you're going to learn and no action and this and that. There's nothing wrong with learning and getting more information and increasing your knowledge. There's nothing wrong with that. You just simply don't feel strongly enough about doing it. It's that simple. Okay? That's why people buy anything. It's because of their feelings and what they feel strongly about. If you don't feel strongly about it, it ain't for you. It doesn't matter if it's a LinkedIn training or not. Okay? It could be you going to buy a bottle of water. If you don't feel that strongly about buying a bottle of water, you're just not going to do it. Like, that simple. It's all about your feelings when it comes to purchases. And your feelings actually override your logic when it comes to buying decisions. Almost every time. It overrides your logic. And so when it comes to buying something, whether it's a bottle of water or getting a new course, okay, your decision making, it becomes much easier to do, to make a decision when you feel very strongly about it. And when you don't feel very strongly about it, then you have to justify it to yourself. That's what I was just talking about. Does that make sense? All right. So we got to get you away from confusion. We got to get you away from that. All right? Because the more confused you are, the less decisions you're going to make. In fact, you'll be in stasis. You'll just be sitting there like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. It's just too much. I can't figure it out. Okay? I can't figure it out. I don't understand what I'm supposed to do. All right? So how do we get you away from confusion? Well, first and foremost, we have to get you to start acting instinctually. So, you may have heard the phrase a gut feeling, right? You got to start trusting your gut feelings. The thing is, your gut is never wrong. Even though you may experience a situation that shows you that your gut is wrong, your gut's never wrong. Just because that the reason that your gut isn't wrong hasn't manifested itself doesn't mean it's wrong. Okay? Doesn't mean it's wrong. Your gut is always right. Your gut is always right. And you got to start using that and internalizing that so that you can get away from this. See, the more you trust your gut, the less confused you're going to be. And the faster you'll be able to make decisions. It doesn't matter if they're good or bad decisions. That's irrelevant. It's irrelevant because making decisions, you don't want to make decisions. You want to take action. Those are two different things, right? So when you trust your gut, it's a lot easier to take action. When you rely on your feelings, your emotions, then it's easier to take action. Making decisions is a logical process. And by taking action, you're actually automatically making a decision. You're just skipping the decision-making part, the logical part of that process. Does that all make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. Kenny said yes.
Cool. So, that really is it. That's all I got. There's nothing else to really say on that.
That's it? You're just going to stop?
Hey, there's nothing else to say. You know?
Well, we have 10 minutes.
Well, if anyone, put your questions in the chat if you have any questions. I am more than willing to answer them.
How can you identify your gut versus your logic? How to identify who is making decisions?
Okay. It's interesting. Who is making decisions? Okay.
It just means like if it's your gut or your logic, like which one?
All right. I'm going to say something that may contradict your current beliefs. Why do you think that your logic and your feelings are different?
Why do you think your logic and your feelings are different?
Why do you think that? I'm very interested to know the answer to that question.
Well, that was never a statement.
No, but I would be very interested to know the answer to the question. The question here that was asked was, how do I know which one is which? That intimates that there is a difference. What makes you think they're different?
Okay. I think that's an assumption. But if you have a different answer, feel free to put it in the chat. For me, up until the point where I learned all of this, it was just the assumption that they were different.
Correct.
There was a right and a wrong. But that's something everyone is trained on.
That's exactly it. That's what everyone's taught.
From a very young age.
Right. When you ask which one, how do I know which one? Both of them are you. Both of them. Right? They're both a part of you. So there's a saying in sales that people buy with emotion but justify with logic. This is a saying that is said in sales, and it's said a lot. Now, this statement is true, okay, that people buy with emotion and justify with logic. But the truth is that these are actually one and the same. The logic only explains the emotions.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So here's what happens. People use their logic to try and convince themselves that something is true.
But they don't feel
it. And so they keep doing it over and over and over with their logic. But they're completely ignoring the emotion.
Which is where the confusion comes from.
Correct. That's where the confusion comes from. So when you're saying, well, how do I know I'm making a decision with one and not the other? Who said they were different?
In other words, your feelings are logical.
Yep. And all that happens in your brain is you're interpreting what you consider to be your feelings into words. That's it. So that you can communicate them.
Yeah, so Kenya said, my feelings, like my gut, I feel it in my heart, and my logic is in my mind.
Well, let me give you a shift on that. Your logic is in your brain. Your feelings are in your mind. Okay? Your mind is where your feelings are housed, and your brain is where your logic is. Okay?
Mind.
You ever hear the phrase mind and body is one?
Yes.
Okay? That doesn't mean your brain. That means your emotions. Okay? That's what it means. Your emotions and your body are one. Your brain is a part of your body.
But your brain has the capacity to think and create language that you associate with those feelings.
Correct. That's what's happening.
So Tux asked, how do you learn to trust that intuition?
Well, there's a few things that you can do. Do it. We'll just leave it there. Just trust it. They don't complicate it. Okay? The question, how do I, means that you're looking for something other than doing that specific action. Okay? That's all you have to do. You just do it. Okay? Now, I know that can be difficult because you may be trying to logically figure it out. Well, I can't. I haven't been able to do that my entire life. There's a guy that we both know. He's a teacher out here. Okay? And when we sent him our book, Quantum Networking, he expressly said, man, I don't think about anything from an emotional point of view. I think my wife is a very, intuitive person. She does that. But he's a very logical person. He's a lawyer. Okay? He's very logical. He does everything from a logic point of view. And it really opened his eyes when he read the book. He was like, oh my God, I didn't realize this. Now, mind you, this guy is, successful in his own right, but having been made aware of, oh wait, I've been doing this my whole life. Now, if you want to learn more about, how you can begin to trust your intuition, I highly recommend checking out our book, the Quantum Networking book, because it'll explain this in detail. So I highly recommend checking that out.
Yeah.
If you haven't already.
Right. Kenya also asked, do you have a way to communicate with the intuition? The intuition meaning the gut.
Absolutely. There are ways to do that. Hold on. I was upset myself. Anyway, the point is, yes, there are ways to do that. But quite frankly, it just kind of goes back to what I was just saying, doing it. But it can be difficult when you're looking at things from a logical perspective. So I'll give you an exercise right now. Okay? I want you to say the following phrase to yourself and let me know how you feel. Okay? If you're happy to see this recording as a post effect, then I want you to do it and post it in the comments. All right? Close your eyes and say this phrase. I believe that I am incredibly limited. Okay, say that phrase to yourself quietly. Well, quietly, loud, whatever, doesn't matter. But say it and let me know what you feel. All right? I'd be very interested to know what your experience is when you say that.
So we'll give you a minute.
We'll give you a second. Do that. All right. You got any responses?
Did anyone notice anything? You're going to notice it in your body. I don't know if it was supposed
Well, I specifically asked feelings, so yes,
okay.
that's where they would notice it because I have never seen a feeling out here.
Hey, you've also never done mushrooms, so.
That's also true. That's also true. But I'm speaking from my experience. I have never seen a feeling. Okay. So.
Did anyone feel anything? Maybe they're in a trance.
Well, that'd be interesting. They just, oh my God, I really feel like this. And then kind of melt into that.
It's funny, because this is like my statements meditation that I used to teach and that I kind of still teach. A little more focus. Interesting. More focus. That's funny because I think everyone feels truth in a different way.
Yeah.
So
everyone feels it differently, correct?
Right. So for Kenny, maybe when you say something that's true and you feel like it's true, you feel more present and more focused. Mm-hmm. Whereas when you're lying to yourself and trying to confuse yourself and just going by what your brain tells you to do, it's very disorienting and fuzzy.
Right.
Interesting.
Yep. Everyone experiences truth differently. But see, because you felt that, you know that's true. You know that's true. And what you did just now was communicate with your intuition. Congratulations.
Yes.
Now, there are layers to that, but that's layer one. I just wanted to introduce you to your intuition. Okay? So just by even saying that phrase and you feeling something, you know, oh wow, it's there.
Kenny said, OMG. OMG.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
So crazy.
It's crazy. You see, very often I come across people who they'll be like, that doesn't make any sense. I didn't ask you if it makes sense. Just do it. Okay? Just do it. Right? And then they do it and they're like, oh my God.
That's like the story of your life with Peter.
Yeah. Oh man, I was guilty of that. Okay? This doesn't make any sense. My mentor used to look at me like, what is wrong with you? Right? What is wrong with you? You have brain damage, whatever. But yeah, then after a while, just, okay, I did what he told me, and that's why I'm here now, teaching it to you. So yeah, that's the thing, man.
Yeah. It's funny when I don't know what you feel. You could talk about that. But when I say something that's true, I feel this like almost orgasmic energy just bursting in my chest. It's really strong, but it's gotten stronger with time.
Right.
So that's another way that it could manifest within your body. What about you? How do you feel?
For me, it's just like a massive wave of warmth.
Interesting.
So it's like, actually, you make this comment a lot that like I am always warm.
Yeah, you are.
Right? I'm always warm, and like I don't experience cold like a lot of people. Like temperature changes, I don't really experience them that much, and so there's I don't know what the reasoning is, but I do know that when I experience something that's absolutely true, I get a wave of warmth. Okay, so yeah. But that's just for me. For you, it could be different. You could get a twitch, or you could, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
Whatever the case is.
So we're at 32 minutes, 33 minutes actually. Is there anything else you want to say? Any other questions?
Hey, no, I don't have anything else, but I tell you what, we'll be back tomorrow with yet another lesson. So make sure to come on back, all right? And we're going to go ahead and just teach more of this stuff so that you guys can have these pivotal changes in your life so that you can learn all of this stuff. Like this stuff is really, for me, it's fun and fascinating. You get to learn. So
It's simple too.
it is simple.
That's
I told you to do one thing and you're already like, oh my God, right? Simple.
Yeah.
Simple.
And it goes beyond just the one exercise.
It goes beyond that.
As you practice quantum networking in your life, everything becomes more simple.
Everything.
So thanks for hanging out. We appreciate you.
We appreciate you being here.
This is going to be uploaded to the community if you want to rewatch it later on. And we will see you tomorrow.
Catch you later.
Alrighty. Bye.